All right, Dave, tell everybody who we have today.
I am really excited about this one. One of my favorite shows of all time, so especially a series, is Friday Night Lights.
Oh, me too.
And I watched it. I binged watched it. I probably in 3 weeks. I was so into it. It was so great.
Yeah.
And we've got one of the stars of Friday Night Lights. She played Grandma Seracin.
Right.
Louanne Stephens is going to join us in just a bit.
Yeah, because it's time for Minutia Men Celebrity Interview.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is the Minutia Men Celebrity Interview with Rick and Dave.
Dave, this is going to be a fun interview. I can tell already. We're talking to her off the air here. Louanne Stephens is well known for her role in the incredibly popular series Friday Night Lights, which we've both binged the entire series. We'll get into that in a bit. And there's several other big roles that we want to talk to you about. But first, welcome to the show, Louanne.
Thank you so much. This sounds like it's gonna be fun. I get to talk, so that's good.
I think so. I think one of the most interesting things about your story is that you haven't been a lifelong actress. You acted in your youth, and then you got married, and you raised kids, and then you returned to acting later. How old were your kids when you dipped your toe back into the acting waters?
Yeah, that's really true because, half the kids you run into today are majoring in theater, musical comedy. I didn't know anybody majoring in anything like that. That was way weird,
Yeah.
I never dreamed of being a professional actor. I just did it for fun, in junior high and high school and college. And when Michael was in medical school in New Orleans, I did a show down in the French Quarter. When we moved to different towns for his training, I would do a theater piece. But again, didn't think much about it. So when my youngest of the three kids was in kindergarten, I believe, I went to my internist. I still remember that day, and he said, "I'm taking an acting class." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I'm taking an acting class." And when I left, I thought, well, how weird can it be if your doctor is
yeah,
doing
right.
He's not acting like a doctor, right? He actually had a degree, right?
I certainly hope this was not part of his, So I did. I signed up for, and I'm usually pretty intrepid. But I signed up for the class and I didn't go to the first class, which is unlike me. And the teacher called and asked about it. And I said, yeah, I'll be at the next one. And I thought, what's the worst thing they can do?
Yeah.
They say you're horrible. And just in a couple of weeks, he said that I could be working in Dallas. I said, you mean as a waitress? Or I said, no, I'm working acting. So it just kind of progressed like that. I think that's why when people ask me about their kids, should their kids have an agent when they're little or go into acting, I just say if it's in them and it's meant to be, then it will come out.
Right.
And that's kind of what happened to me. So my youngest was in kindergarten and my boys are 6 and 8 years older than she. So, I was 43. I'm telling my age, but you can look that up on IMDb.
Do the math. Everyone do the math.
Hey, but you know what?
Yeah.
Guess what? SAG has finally gotten where we can tell IMDb not to put our age on there.
Oh.
First time.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just got a message from SAG. Well, see, they tell you the acting classes and your agents, they don't say how old you are because people get a prejudice about it. But it was always there on the internet.
Yeah.
But now we don't have to put it up there. I haven't figured out how to take it down, so I don't know if I'll bother.
Well, we're about the same age as you, so we also don't like putting our age out there, but we understand. Let's put it that way. We understand.
So you're a native Texan. You grew up there and you raised your family there. Are you there now? Are you still living in Texas now?
We are. My husband ended up practicing in Dallas, kidney disease nephrology. So I think we're in our fourth house, but we've just moved around here in Dallas. And I know LA would be good in a way, but it's not somewhere I want to live. And now the way it is, you can live anywhere.
Yeah.
It's good and bad. I don't know if people talk to you about that, but there aren't any live auditions anymore.
Right. It's all
Right.
Yeah.
You record them and send them in, right? Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's good and bad. They try to tell you to think of the good. The good is you can audition for more things. You tape it, and then you can look at it and revise it. But the bad is I always counted on personal contact with the director.
Right.
And input from them. Bring it up, bring it down, less accent. And now there's nothing like that. Unless you get to have a Zoom audition. And that's great. That's the best of both worlds. But I've only had a couple of those. Usually I just have to tape it, send it in. And I just went to an acting kind of Zoom workshop thing, and they said they used to have like 10 or 12 people per role, and now there's a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Right. That's the other downside. But I understand what you're saying, because you could not only can you get direction from the director, but you can see the reactions.
Yeah, the laugh or the no laugh
you
or
know
whatever.
that if you're nailing the part or not, you can kind of feel that. And when you're just in a room by yourself, you just never know.
You're right. It's a lot more than just them giving you direction. It's just that whole, if you've got a little charisma, you kind of got it, that comes across in a group.
Yeah.
And the thing about actors, whether you're playing a mean person or a good person, you have to be charming.
Right.
People have to want to look at you. And I just know, I don't know any actor that prefers the new way, but it is here to stay. It's cheaper for all of them. They can get us to audition as many people as they want. It costs them nothing.
Right.
Costs us something. I pay a guy because I'm not good at self-taping. So they're never going to go back to the other way. The best one I had was with B.J. Novak for this last movie, Vengeance.
Right.
And we're going to talk about that. Yeah.
Because, that was a really fun audition because I did the regular tape thing. And then he wanted a Zoom callback. So that was really fun. And I could ask him what he thought, and he could ask me questions. And then he even called me on the phone. He's so cool. I love him so much. And said, "What do you think about doing this?" I said, "Well, would it be fun? I'm old. I want it to be fun." He said, It's going to be the most fun you've ever had. And I said, "Well, do I have to say the lines like they're written, or can I improvise?" He said, "Well, say them first the way I write them, and then you can do your thing." I said, "Okay, good deal." And it ended up being the most fun shoot I've ever been on.
Well, I mean, that was a star-studded cast. You had, wasn't Ashton Kutcher in that too? And
He was.
And who else? The woman from Succession, Jean Smith Cameron, was in there, and
yes,
Issa Rae from Insecure was in that. That was a heck of a thing. While we're on the subject, why don't you give us the pitch on why that movie should be added to the list? Because Dave and I have not had a chance to check that one out yet.
It's really good. The first time I saw it was on my iPad. It wasn't quite finished. And I was watching it with my daughter, and I said, "I don't know about that." Then I went to the premiere, Tribeca. I saw it again. Now that's a really good film. And then I heard the Q&A because it's different. If you go into it knowing it's kind of a black comedy, kind of a fable, that'll give you a head start.
Okay.
Because and he's very, like the one review I read, they just didn't get it. It said it was making fun of Texans. It was too broad. It's making fun of Texans, and it was mean or whatever. But the people that get it, it's making fun of everybody, but more the East Coast elites than the Texans. I don't know. It's got so much in it that I didn't really get it until I watched it streaming at my house with captions.
Okay. Wow.
Because I had read the script, of course, but it's so smart, and the repartee is so fast, and of course everyone mumbles now.
Right. It's true.
Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. Now, you were talking about this being a Texan movie, and obviously Friday Night Lights was a show about Texas. And as a Yankee, I have to say I didn't really appreciate how important football was to the life down there. It's not just part of life; it is life, especially in the smaller towns. Was that your experience when you came into that? Did you kind of know that already, or is that something that you learned along with the rest of us?
No, absolutely. Growing up in Texas, where are you guys
We're
from?
from Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. I love
Our hobby is pollution and gunshots.
Hey, we've got the gunfire down here. We're working on the pollution. No, everybody knows that, and it's not just in Texas. Although Texas has. Have y'all watched the series about six-man football?
No.
Called well, look it up. I can't think. It's so good, and it's a documentary type.
Okay.
And so Texas has the most six-man football teams, although they're scattered around the United States. So yeah, football it's just part of the DNA. And on the little town, like my mother and daddy were from near Vernon, Texas. And it's just the same, all the little towns. Everybody knows those high school football players' names.
Yeah.
And it's the event. I know one of my friends from another part of the country said, well, it was so unrealistic the way they prayed before the game. And I said, you've never been to a Texas football game on Friday night, have you? So that was not exaggerated. And I also tried to tell people that football is just a character in that show. It's not, people were turned off because it was about football if they didn't like football. But that's just part of it. And Connie and Kyle, oh my gosh, they're so great.
Oh, yeah.
They were.
They were just great. And I don't know if it's true, but I heard that when they were approached about the roles, they both said yes, but they wanted to be monogamous. And so that's the way it went. Even though there were maybe some flirting or something, there were no affairs.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they both won Emmy Awards for that, for their roles in that. And that, we've talked about how much we love it. Dave is a big fan of Matt Saracin, especially.
Oh, I love Matt. He's the perfect grandson.
What a good boy!
He's a good boy.
What a good boy he is.
He's star quarterback. He's humble.
Oh my gosh! And taking care of his granny.
Oh, and you had some issues, but he was so nice. How is the actor? I mean, he's Zach Gilford. My God, he seems like the most perfect human being around. I mean,
he was just adorable. His parents were there on the set one day, and I was talking to his mom, and she said, well, he treats his real grandparents the exact same way.
Oh, wow.
And the thing about Zach, he's very, very smart. He was reading, I was an English teacher and got a master's in American literature and all that, and I think I'm reading cool books. Zach's reading the same books. He, very smart, quiet. We did have one really funny thing that happened. And whenever he would say a bad word, oh, I'm sorry, Louanne, he was just very shy and wonderful working with him and Jesse Plemons. I mean, it was great because I didn't have scenes with everybody,
right.
But I guess I'll tell this again. It's a little embarrassing, but there's a scene that the grandmother falls out of the car.
Yes.
They pulled up into the driveway, and I was so inexperienced. I had a bad knee at the time. It's since been replaced. But I was so inexperienced, I turned to Kim Dickens and I said, man, I really hate doing this because I may hurt my knee worse, but I've got to do it. I really like this job. And she said, Louanne, they'll have a stunt person do that.
Oh.
Oh. Sure, I'll do that. Hey. So we the car pulls up, and I open the door, and then I get out and wait, and the stunt person does the fall, and then the camera comes back to me. I'm on the ground. Is that me making a noise or you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, so I'm on the ground with the fake blood and everything, and Zach the grandson runs out of the house and puts his arm around his grandmother. Oh, how are you? And he accidentally put his hand on my left breast.
Uh-oh.
Well, that would have just been funny with anybody else, but with him it was ultra funny because so when the scene was cut, his face was a little red and we stood up and I should have let it go, but it was just too good. Yeah. And so I said, Zach, I was very surprised by that feeling up that you did on the take. He could have died. His face was, and I did apologize because I knew it would embarrass him. But, funny stuff like that happens and, you go on with the scene, but I couldn't let it go. But
that's great.
Well, and then I think that just really belies how nice of a kid this is.
Yeah.
How horrible he felt about it.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, it was, even talking about it, I know it was mean.
Oh, that's a great story, though. Oh, you mentioned Jesse too.
Oh God,
who last year got an Oscar nomination, right?
Oh,
I mean, he's gone on. He was on Breaking Bad. I mean, this was quite a cast that you had put together there, didn't you?
When you look at what they've all done and how far they've gone, it's truly amazing. And Jesse and Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, Michael B. Jordan was like the most handsome man in the world or something for a while.
Was he the people's sexiest person alive or something?
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Sexiest person alive. Yeah.
Because Rick is the hottest guy in the world or whatever.
Right, because, I'm on a horse right now.
Is he the hottest one on FaceTime audio?
Yeah. Yes, I am on FaceTime audio.
How does he look on that horse? I've always heard George Washington looked the best on a horse of anybody.
Well, I'm not wearing the full uniform.
Right. He's not wearing a shirt right now.
More of a rugged Davy Crockett look right now, but
And
I'm thinking of you in just like chaps and a vest.
Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Right. Yeah. And it's minus 10 degrees in Chicago right now. So, so there are some things that are more prominent than others right now.
Just
and it's
stay away from my left breast because it's
No, yes, absolutely. Now I know we're supposed to talk about me, but I'm really
no,
curious.
that's fine.
Yeah.
How did you start a show like this? What made you say, let's be the minutia men?
Well, I was in radio for many years. I was part of a couple of big shows here in Chicago. And Dave and I did a show together when we were in college many, many years ago, 40 plus years
they're
ago.
They're still talking about it. The kids back in college are still talking about it from the 80s.
And we're best friends, and we've stayed best friends for years. And we just thought it'd be fun to do it again. And we've been doing it now for about 7 years. And it's just a blast. We just have a great time.
Right. And we own a publishing company, too. So we have our authors on and it gets us out of the house. It's like you in acting with the kids when you wanted to get out of the house. We're getting out of the house with our kids.
Exactly.
So do you have a studio that?
We do it out of my house. We have a whole studio set up here in my house.
Yeah, it's not unlike your auditions.
Yeah.
Now that everything is done via. Basically your computer is a radio station or a television station right now. Right. And
I'm taking my earrings off. They're hurting.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. Now it's FaceTime audio.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So when you started this, did you get a lot of listeners right away?
I don't think so.
I don't know how it happened, but we woke up one day and we were in the top 1% in the world.
Yeah.
And we still don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I think that's indicative of the relative intelligence of the world, maybe. But we're number one in top 1%. No, we Rick said, we enjoy doing it, and we love talking to people like you.
We just have a natural curiosity, so it's fun for us to meet someone like you.
And you do like authors, sports people, anybody that's just you want to talk to.
Yeah, usually people from the arts is what we're interested in.
We've talked to everybody from Mark Cuban to Tommy Chong.
Right, exactly.
We talked to the bully from The Christmas Story. Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch. We've talked to sports people. And
I bet Mark Cuban was fun.
Oh, he was. He was.
From Dallas, right? He's a neighbor of yours.
Yeah. I like him. When he first came here and bought the team, nobody knew what what to think. He was almost a young kid. I mean, he wasn't a kid, but he was young. And, man, he has just done such a great job. I'm a big sports fan. Now, basketball is my fourth sport, but hockey is my number one. Now, that's what I'd like to talk about later. And You're from Chicago.
Yeah, we've got 3 Stanley Cups here.
Well, do you know Bobby Hull? Have you back in the day, in the 70s, Bobby Hull, perhaps the greatest. Well, it's he died today. He died this morning. Bobby Hull.
He did?
Yeah. Just heard it on the way in this morning. That's a bummer.
So Brett Hull's really sad today. We had him here for a while.
Yeah, Brett Hull's dad. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Me. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. The Blackhawks, it's not their year, is it?
No.
I don't think it's our decade, to be honest with you. We had a good run 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but not so good right now.
You had more than a good run. Yeah. I mean, there was I don't know how long you were in the playoffs, but you were like the top team that I needed to play for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. 3 Stanley Cups.
3 Stanley Cups.
Gosh, man. Adam Sandler once was interviewed. He's a huge hockey fan too. And he was just talking about the Stanley Cup. And he said, just if you ever win it, just enjoy it, because you probably never, ever get back there again as long as you live. You got 3.
Right, Patrick Kane and
we were
Jonathan Tate. Oh, yeah, there was probably 7 or 8 players that had won 3 Stanley Cups.
Right.
Now, somebody left the Blackhawks, one of the big guys. Who left? Patrick Kane?
No, he's still there.
No, he hasn't left yet, but it'll be happening soon.
Well, who left? Who's the captain?
Jonathan Tate.
Right.
Yeah, he left for a couple of years. He had some medical issues, but he is back now.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
So you think? Okay. No,
I was not expecting a hockey conversation. This is fun.
So, are you a baseball fan? Are you how does baseball run? Well, let me ask you, how does football?
Yeah. Well, now you said basketball's your fourth, and hockey's your first.
Football was always first because I grew up in Texas, and that was the only one. Now, when I was a cheerleader in college, I didn't know about football. I didn't know which way we were going, but I really have learned. And we had the great time with Roger Staubach and then Troy, and then
sure,
so we've had a lot of good football, but not lately. Well, it's a little bit better now.
Well, you made the playoffs.
Yeah, something that we don't do here in Chicago.
But one time I started in '96. We were at a Cowboys road show. You know how they'll have a radio show and you go and blah, blah. And they were giving free tickets away to the hockey. And I'd never been to hockey. I thought it was just a low-class, blue-collar sport for somewhere over there, like where you live.
Yeah.
They gave the tickets, and 2 couples went. And the first thing I thought, there's only 3 quarters. Now, how does that work? That's
okay.
And we left after the second quarter. And then for some reason, I guess I was needing something. My last child was graduating from high school, and I wanted something that wasn't too hard but exciting. Because if you do a play, that's exciting, but it's really hard. Well, and when I started, we won the Stanley Cup in 3 years. So you're hooked.
Yeah.
And so I go by myself. My husband can't stand hockey. And I'm trying to go to all the barns before I die. I've been to 16.
Wow. You're really into it.
No. I'm talking, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I have a season ticket, just me. And I never miss I don't go to all the games now. Sometimes I watch on TV, but I never miss. And it's really fun. I've been to. Now, I'm counting the New Jersey, even though they now play a different place.
Okay, yeah.
And the same with Long Island. They play a different place, but I'm counting the first one. So I've got quite a few more to go to.
Have you been to Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been there a couple of times, United Center. I was there not long ago with my granddaughter. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we went up there for a little trip and watched the Stars and the Blackhawks. And I love being there, and the Star Spangled Banner. And
yeah, that's an experience.
I'm so sad about, the part of Chicago that's so bad, because the rest of it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And it is just one part of town, really. And I think every city has areas that are not bad. Our not bad section is really not bad. I mean, it's really bad. But the rest of the town it's a beautiful city. We always say we love being here in Chicago.
Well, the next time you're here, a couple of minutia men will give you pizza. We'll take you out to deep dish pizza.
We should take her to a Blackhawks game again.
I was going to say
I'll see when the Stars are playing. It was funny. I was thinking about Chicago this morning. I didn't know you lived there because whenever I want a good coat, I was thinking this is the time to go to Chicago because February, you go in those stores. In Dallas, you can hardly find a heavy coat. I found the most gorgeous coats up there. Oh. And it's about time to do another shopping spree. So I'll let you know if I go.
All right. Well, you talk to Mark Cuban when the Stars are in town. Get him to, because we don't really want to pay for your tickets. So if Cuban could get us a couple of, maybe he'll be, I don't know, maybe he'll know who can get us tickets.
We can work it out. We can work it out.
All right. We can work it out.
Yes.
Right.
So let's talk about Longmire a little bit.
All right. Talk about Longmire.
So you played Ruby.
I did.
Not many actors get the chance to star in a long-running series, yet you're starring in 2, right? Talk about Longmire and, what the show meant to you and just for our listeners who may not be familiar.
I would love to. And first I want to say, because like right now I'm not really feeling like an actor because I'm not working. Because, with acting, like that movie that just came out, I did it a year ago. Or 2 years ago. And another movie just dropped on Shudder, and I love my little part in it. I'm a 200-year-old Romanian gypsy.
Wow, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It's on. It's only streaming on Shudder, and it's gotten some really good reviews from the horror people. One guy gave it 4 stabs.
Well, now you are talking Chicago.
So that's off my bucket list. Now I need to do a Western. But anyway, I've been really lucky that the 2 shows that I got, I love the shows. I'm proud of the shows. I feel honored to be a part of those casts. And with Longmire, I got a lot closer to the people. We're still close. With Friday Night Lights, that was my first series. I drove from Dallas. I stayed in Austin and shot. But all those kids were so much younger. I mean, they would say, you want to go on 6th Street? No, I'll just go back to the hotel. And, it just wasn't. It was really funny, like at lunch. And, in acting, when you're shooting, lunch is always the second meal.
Right.
It doesn't matter what time it is. And, or it's always a meal in the middle of your shooting. So I would go in my granny glasses and my house shoes and my outing gown, and they're all in there in their cheerleader costumes and their football uniforms, all these young, sexy kids, But in Longmire, the cast was much smaller, and I was in Santa Fe a lot more. And like Lou Diamond Phillips would always have dinners and invite everybody to his house. I could only go a couple times, but they were just so friendly. And it starts with Rob. Rob Taylor is the most unassuming, down-to-earth person that could be a star. He just, and that trickles down to everybody. And all of the guest stars who came mentioned how friendly we were. And I just talked to, I won't say who, somebody in that cast doing another show, and or as a day player, and saying, they don't even say hi to you.
Yeah.
So it was just a really, really good cast. And what made it so special was we started having Longmire days. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay. Starting in 13 or 14. So the guy that writes it, Craig Johnson, lives on a ranch outside of Buffalo, Wyoming, in a town called Ucross with about 30 people. So he based Longmire on this town of Buffalo, Wyoming. It's called Durant in his books. And a lot of the characters are based on these local people he knows in Buffalo, Wyoming. So every year, Longmire Days, Buffalo becomes Durant. About 10,000 fans come. I mean, from Canada, England, and the cast goes back for like a 4-day thing where it's interaction with the cast solidly for those 4 days. So even though it's a lot of work, it has made the cast really close. And the feeling with the fans is different than I can imagine. It's really like a family reunion when you get there.
That's great.
And people would say, well, aren't they all weird? No, these people are just like regular people. And so Longmire Days has made a difference. And playing Ruby was really fun, but it was hard. It was much harder than playing Grandma Seracin. Guess why? I'm going to see what you think.
Boy, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I would think Grandma Seracin was really hard to play.
Because you were pretty young when you were Grandma Seracin.
Yeah. No, that's a natural part for me because being from Texas, I'm just a composite of all the strong, feisty Texas women that I know. But with Ruby, there's no arc. Think about it. She doesn't have a story arc.
Yeah.
She has no relationships other than mainly with Rob, but, you know, the people in the office. There's no accent. There's nothing to hang your hat on.
Oh.
So that's why it was harder. And what I decided when I started was all I can do is just be as real as I can be. And because I didn't have a story line to develop.
Oh, that's interesting.
Now,
I would think that'd make it easier, but now that you say it, you describe it that way, that makes a lot of sense.
Now, could you have invented a backstory for you, or did you?
I did. You do in your mind, you do. But it was funny. They tell you to do that, have the backstory and all that. So sometimes I would be saying my lines using my backstory. And maybe milking them a bit, or maybe, and the director's like, just say the line.
Honey.
Yeah. Say your lines and go to that lunch buffet and we'll call it a day, sweetie.
Well, and a lot of my lines were, Walt, George is on line too. You know. So,
oh, I love it.
Well, you did it great.
Yeah. Well, while we have you, is there, for people that are fans of you, is there a best way to follow you, a way they can keep track of you?
Social media feeds, whatever?
I have a very active Instagram account. Twitter I've a little bit fallen off of, but my Instagram is Louanne_Stephens. And I only use it for acting and fun stuff. I don't give any kind of opinions or... Yeah. It's all an up.
No, I think you should start doing political opinions because that always works out great, Louanne, for everybody who
you
does.
You could just convince anybody of whatever you believe just by saying it a little louder.
Right. All caps. If you just do it in all caps, everything will be fine.
Honestly, social media is great, but it has caused so many problems.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But, well, I definitely... I'm going to tell Brandon to give me your phone number. So if I come to Chicago, I'm going to get that.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this has just been an absolute joy. Wonderful. And so Friday Night Lights, just to give you a little, so we have our kids now. My daughter is 20 and my twins are 17. So there was, in basically the early 2000s to 2014, all I watched was Disney movies, and I missed all this great content. And Friday Night Lights was like one of the first things that I watched it well after it.
Me too. I didn't watch it while it was live on the air. This whole pandemic really paid off.
Right?
Yeah, you got caught up.
Yeah.
And it was just great. And I'm like, God, this is a party that I almost missed. And it was just wonderful. I mean, I really loved it. Just absolutely loved it.
It is. It's a high-class show.
It is.
I'm very, very proud of it.
Despite the breast grabbing and the shenanigans going on behind the scenes.
Please tell me that's on YouTube somewhere.
Despite Zach being, so difficult.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Diva. He was a diva.
I want to say one more thing about Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
We were at one of the first scenes, and we had shot a while, and Kyle came over to me and really bragged on me, I was so shocked. And like I said, it's my first series. And later in the show, we're doing a scene. He said, you'll never have a job like this again. I said, what do you mean? He said, you'll never have a job where you can do what you want to do. because they had 3 cameras going all the time. You know how you have to match in acting? Do you know how that works?
Yeah.
In other words, you pick up a glass with your left hand when you say a word. You need to always do that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But so that takes like 30% of my brain or maybe more to try to remember what I did.
Right.
But with them, you could do it different every time. You didn't have to match. I could say, Matthew, where's my orange juice? Or I could say, I told you I wanted that orange juice now. And you could do anything you wanted, and pretty soon they were writing the way they thought you would want it.
Oh, wow.
It was fabulous. And you got to create this character because the writers' egos were so, I don't know what the word I want, not low, but I mean, they were just willing. They didn't have
flexible.
to be the boss. Yeah, flexible. That's the word. So it was an incredible experience, and I've never shot anything else like that.
So that's why it has kind of like that. It almost has like a documentary feel to it because they were constantly just filming with several cameras. Mm-hmm.
And we all had our own real houses. It wasn't in a studio. Oh. And Longmire's great, but I mean, it was all in a studio. His cabin interior is in the studio. My office is in the studio, and it's all great. But we went to the Seracin house when we had a Seracin scene. They went to the Taylor house when they had a Taylor scene. And all of us had our own real houses in Austin that we shot in. So, I don't know. It was just like so cool and so much fun.
Yeah, well, and it obviously you could tell that it was fun because the chemistry of all the acting was just phenomenal.
It was.
Oh, you're making me cry.
Oh no!
Well, it's one of our favorite shows ever.
Yeah,
Let's put it to you that way.
I agree, and it's an honor to get to talk about it and to have been in it, and just to be an actor. I never dreamed of it.
Well, I think that it's wonderful that you found your calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
yes, it is.
And we certainly appreciate
and your calling
that
is hockey.
Yeah, right. Because you could have been a defenseman, I think, and you might want to.
I missed it. Did you ask something? I missed it.
No, I just said that you should have been a defenseman in hockey because that's where you're passionate.
All right.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, we really appreciate
this
it.
This has been a real thrill for us. And when you're in Chicago, please look us up. We'll definitely hook up.
Okay, go Stars.
Okay,
go Hawks.
Okay, see ya. Bye-bye.
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 What a nice lady.
Oh, I don't think we've ever been interviewed. No one cares about us and how we started. So it was very nice that she asked about it.
That was fascinating. Well, a special thanks to our executive producer, Tony Lasano, with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. Thanks to Brandon for scoring. Brandon Herman scored the interview for us. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place, radiomisfits.com. And we'll be back again soon with another episode of
Minutia Man Celebrity Interview.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?